We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are.
Hey everybody, welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. Hey Steve, wake up, man. Are you? How you doing? What's going on?
What?
How are you?
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in the saddle. It's crazy.
All right.
Yeah, had a lot of fun in Williamsburg. Shot a flintlock rifle. It was really cool and got a chance to hang out with the family. Glad to be back in the saddle. Happy to be with, of course, both my friends, John Tracy, Steve Murray. I'm Matt Craig. And it's episode 90, guys. 90 episodes of Two Noobs Talking. Can you believe it, John? It's crazy that we've hit 90.
This consecutive episodes is getting tiring. Look, Steve fell asleep.
I know. And we've only brought him along for like, what, 20, 21 episodes now. It's crazy. It's nuts. But
It's more than that.
Well, we've had you off and on, but now a regular contributor. How about that? That's pretty cool.
Well, talk to me, criminal.
But in any event, guys, it's great to be back. Great to be with you both.
To have you back.
Yeah. You guys did a great job last week and everything. Got a chance to catch up with you, and now I'm back in the saddle. So here we go, episode 90 of Two Noobs. What do you say we kind of go through a little bit of who wore the episode number in the city of Philadelphia to kick things off, as we usually do. Episode 90 started with Corey Simon. Tremendous defensive tackle. First play of his career, he sacks Troy Aikman behind a paper-thin offensive line. It was great. You know, what a way to kick off your career.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
No.
How do you put yourself in the Philly? That. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We love you.
That was the pickle juice game, by the way. That was the game. That
More famously
famously
remembered for Deuce going off for 200 yards.
Yes.
200 yards, the onside kick to start the whole thing, you know, and that was amazing. Yeah. And against the hated Dallas Cowboys, you can't ask for anything better than that. But then we also had Mike Golick wore 90 for the city of Philadelphia, the Eagles. Guys, what do you think of Golick? I mean, you know, kind of just the offbeat path along that line there. I mean, you had Reggie and Clyde, but then you had Jerome, and then Mike Golick was in there. How about that? I mean, that was kind of crazy.
Hey, well, didn't he fill in after Pitts left?
I think he did. Yeah.
It was in around that time. It was either or, but he was, didn't slow down.
Yeah. And of course, now a nationally known broadcaster with ESPN, unfortunately.
I think I more know him as the Mike and Mike contributor than I really did remember him. And his brother was pretty good too in
Bob.
Cleveland. Yeah, Bob. And also famous actor.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed him on the Mike and Mike program, cavalierly eating ghost pepper extract or juice or something. Did not go down smoothly.
It did not go down smooth, no.
That was a good show for a while. I'm glad he ditched Greeny though. I hate
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Hate him.
He's kind of one of those guys where you take him or leave him. Sometimes you take him, and most of the time you leave him. You know, that kind of deal.
If you like ass wipe announcers, he's your guy. If you don't like ass wipe announcers, you don't like him. It's very simple.
Very straightforward. Absolutely.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. But John, we also have, I hate to admit it, and to both of you, we have another uniform violation committed by the Eagles in the Norman Braman era. William Perry played for the Philadelphia Eagles, but instead of wearing 72, which is what his number was in Chicago, which made him famous, carrying the ball into the end zone, he wore 90 for the Eagles.
Travesty.
I don't understand that at all.
And what's more of a travesty is they never handed him the ball. He had, if I recall looking at the stats, he had 0 rushes for the Eagles.
He probably had 3 bad knees.
Well, I mean, that's probably...
In fairness,
Probably 600 pounds.
it's more likely that what they did was they were looking for 72 and they could find him, so they decided not to put him in.
I guess.
Oh, where's Fridge? I don't see a 72 anywhere. All right, let's just give it to the regular running back.
Well,
Was he
that
on-
would have been Richie Kotite as the offensive coordinator, of course, when Buddy was the head coach, and then he was
Was he
promoted
on
head
the
coach. So
Was he on the team with McMahon when McMahon ordered the pizza when Randall was playing? Do you remember that story?
my God,
He walked by the coach with a pizza because he ordered one because he knew he wasn't playing.
I don't.
Walked back and ate it.
I don't think he was on the team when Buddy was the coach.
and I would agree with you. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
think-
think he was either.
he came
'Cause I
post
think it would
Buddy,
have been like, yeah, it came like 93 or 94. I think he
Or-
was on the team.
which would have been probably tail end Richie Kotite, early days of Ray Rhodes. It's kind of in that time frame. I can't remember if he played for both of those two coaches or one of them. I can't remember, but yeah, it's a travesty that he wore 90 instead of 70. I don't get that. I don't get where it's like, here you go, kid. And by the way, he scored one of the most famous Super Bowl touchdowns in history, barreling over somebody into the end zone. I mean, it was great. You know, it was back in the 80s.
Sorry, you're a Super Bowl hero and renowned all over football, but you can't have your regular number.
What's the matter with you?
Well, they
You
did
know?
it to Joe Montana, so I guess they do it to everybody.
Didn't it turn out? Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah,
the Eagles
right?
didn't do it to Joe Montana.
Oh, but Kansas City did.
But it did at the Kansas
Didn't
City.
it turn out that the guy who had 72 was like some turnstile center?
Yeah, Alexander or whatever.
Yeah, David
Yeah.
Alexander, who snapped the ball and then went like this because he couldn't block to save his life. I mean, it was
Good.
terrible. But other than that, he was okay. You know, that type of
We're
deal.
judgmental to centers now because
Yeah,
we have the greatest of all.
That's true. When you have like a really, really good center that's going to go into the Hall of Fame, you don't realize just how bad your other centers were at that point in time. Until you look back and you go like, "Oh my God, it was."
We've got a run of good centers here, though.
Lately,
You know,
lately.
Yeah,
not-
Fraley and
not in
yeah.
the Buddy. Yeah, not in the Buddy era.
No,
no.
absolutely not. But really, it started with, I think, with Steve Everett. Really, I think that's that signing when McNabb was a rookie, and then that kind of got the ball rolling. They had Fraley coming over, and then it was just centers after centers that were terrific at that
That's
point.
because
So-
Andy's smart. Andy
Yeah.
set this up, as we can see, you know, with DeCorey Simons, and he set this team up of always replenishing the important parts.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
successful.
Yeah, no, by the way, Darren Howard, who was originally originally a New Orleans Saint, signed as a free agent in 2006. We looked it up. Had to look it up because somebody didn't know who he was.
Neither of us did.
Neither, well,
Yeah, let's be
Because it's
fair.
been
It
a
wasn't
while.
just one person.
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't
exactly.
know who
That's
he
why
was.
I'm here, to bring you guys, kind of go, yeah, Darren Howard play. Who? But yeah,
I
he
don't
played,
know
it didn't really
who he
contribute all
was.
that much, but yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't even realize he played for the Eagles. I more
Yeah.
recognized him as a Saint.
I still don't know who we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
That goes to show you just how much of an impact he made. If Steve didn't know who you are, forget it. That kind of zero, exactly. So, guys, well, I guess why don't we get started? I mean, this is kind of new for me, kind of getting back off of a couple weeks vacation. It's crazy. But anyway, topic one here. Since gas prices are a little bit astronomical, and they were astronomical when I was down in Virginia, talking about $4.85, $4.90 a gallon. You're kind of getting pressure up close to $5 a gallon. Some instances I've seen $5.69 a gallon along the main line in here in King of Prussia, that kind of area, Malvern area. Johnny, we have a regular gas price expert, I guess you could say, or a guy who works with the gas industry. What's that, John?
I'm not an expert at all. I did pull.
Expert.
Yeah, just real quick. I did pull. I'm able to see years upon years and 5 years of prices.
Yeah.
So I pulled a little Texas, Philadelphia, and I'll give you specific. Actually, it's not Philadelphia. It's the gas station on Horsham Road, right where I used to live between you guys.
Oh,
I
nice.
pulled that one.
Holy crap, we're
you
down
go.
to this specific
Yes.
gas station?
Yes.
My goodness.
So I'm just for generalized areas for you guys, so you kind of understand where I'm pulling these from. And for me, this is about the same distance from me in Austin that I pulled from this station. So just quick 17 to 21. So this gas station from Pennsylvania in 2017, it was $2.58.
Okay.
18, it was $2.97.
Okay.
19, it was 275.
Mhm.
2020, it was 249. 2021 was 351, and like you guys said, it's upwards to 4.5 to close to 5 now in Pennsylvania.
Wow. Wow.
The Texas one, 2017, 199, 18, 220, 227, 19, 215, 2020, 206, 21, 279, and now just actually the other day it was 449. This is just regular unleaded.
Regular unleaded.
So that follows pretty much the same track. It kind of went up a little bit, came back.
Yeah, but now it seems it's tracking this way.
Well, yeah.
The last
Yeah, it's
two,
going
it
up.
seems like it's not going back. 17 to 20, you can kind of see this,
Right.
but now it kind of looks like it's doing. It's
going up like
Bezos
that,
dick
yeah.
rocketing that way.
Exactly.
But just to get
There has been, though, like some changes, right, Johnny? I mean, like some of the states in the union have suspended gasoline taxes. So why don't we
the
talk?
only one one that has a suspended state tax as of right now is New York. Everybody else, Alabama, Connecticut ends at the end of the month. Alabama's already ended, and a couple other ones have already ended. They did like a 3-month or a month. What do they call it? Holiday.
Holiday
for
tax
their-
holiday. So I mean, it's interesting because here we're talking about like what do we do to try and lower these prices? Obviously, there's a Russian war going on with Ukraine that still continues to slog, even though you're seeing it completely buried in the headlines for other reasons, which we will not get into in this podcast. But here it's like this war has really been taking a huge hit, you could say, on the the gasoline prices that we're seeing now. Consequently, too, we're not producing all that much either. In terms of like fracking and other things that we've done before, where we were a net exporter, and we were a net exporter of natural gas and petroleum-based products throughout the entire world. In that regard, this is a political commentary; those are just facts. So now all of a sudden, it's like, how do we try and lower the price? We can either do one of two options. We can either try and push for more supply, or you try and lower the price through the taxes. Now, I don't know what you guys are either you could do either one or two or both. Now, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on all of this. I would prefer, obviously, to do both. You want to try and increase the supply as much as you possibly can in times like this. If you've got one avenue that's being currently shut off because of an idiot dictator declaring war on another sovereign country for no particular reason whatsoever, what are your guys' thoughts on all of this? John, I'll go to you first, since I know you work within the industry.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know it as much as you guys with the gas prices and what's been in the headlines. You got to do a lot of things. I was watching Kennedy talk at a congressional hearing yesterday, and he was asking it's literally the same questions you're asking. How do we make things better? How do we? And it doesn't seem like many people have many answers. Steve made a really good point when we were talking about this in pre-production about the Biden getting rid of the federal tax. That's what Biden wants to do. He wants to take a holiday from the federal tax. And we believe we decided it was like 18 cents federal tax.
It was like 18.4.
Okay. So
per gallon.
That's something to try, but that the feds really can't do much. So yeah, they could get rid of that, but like we were saying, it's gonna be a little relief, but not 24-gallon tank, or you know what I mean? Like you're saving 18 cents a gallon, which to some people that could help, but I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference.
I don't think that helps at all. I mean, by itself.
Yes,
18 cents a gallon. If you've got, let's just say you have a 20-gallon tank, you fill up from zero. Okay. You will, from the gas tax, you will save $3.60. That gets you probably half a coffee now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, with everything else being inflated, that's not going to be something that's going to make a huge benchmark.
So
Yeah.
to the individual, it's really not going to make much of a difference at all.
Mm-hmm.
And conversely, the government has signed some pretty serious spending bills.
Yes.
18 cents to a family is nothing, but for the government who's collecting that money, 18 cents everybody everywhere, that's losing a lot of money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so I don't think the federal tax cut or holiday or whatever is going to do much good, if at all.
No.
Yeah.
It actually worries me, the long-term effect of it.
Yeah. That's a good point. That is a very, very good point. Because I think also, too, we tend to think of it as like you see 18 cents per gallon. You're thinking like, wow, that's huge. It's a massive check. But over, like, to John's point, if you're filling up let's just say a 14-gallon tank, right? And you have a 20% or 20 cent per gallon holiday, you're only saving $3. It's not a lot of money when it comes right down to it. Yeah, sure, it saves. I mean, if you take that off, you fill that up. Let's just say it's $60. You're shaving $3 off. $57. That's not a holiday. That's like,
and it's really
chump
not,
change.
and it's not saving you anything. Because what if you're thirsty? There goes your $3. Because now your water's $6, not
Yeah.
$3. It's actually ridiculous with how crazy, and the fact that nobody has answers is. I mean, people in power. I mean, we have had answers talking about it, but people in power saying that they don't have answers is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's touch on the state tax, because we were shocked about the Pennsylvania state tax. This is something Pennsylvania
wasn't.
has to get rid of.
I wasn't.
This would help.
Oh,
Yes, it would.
Yeah, it
Give us
sure
a
would.
holiday. This would help.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring it up here, Johnny, because, I mean, the following tax rates, of course, this is coming directly from the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue in tax rates under the motor fuel tax rates tab on their website here. And in 2022, they have liquid fuels, motor gasoline, and gasoil. It is at 57 cents per gallon. Literally
I want to know
half
where that money's
a
going.
dollar or more. 57 cents per gallon. Yeah.
That's per gallon.
That's
you're
highest in the country.
Yes.
highest in the country.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
20
just as a comparison, it's only 20 cents per gallon in Texas.
The last time it was under 57 cents per gallon, you have to go back 6 years ago to 2016. There it was 50 cents a gallon.
Wow.
And prior to that, 2014, it was at 40 cents per gallon. So it has increased steadily. If I'm to do the math there, I'm going to ballpark that at probably about a 20% increase. I'm going to just give that just a shot in the dark. We'll check that in post-production, I'm sure, by somebody who's going to audit me later. But it just goes to show you. Yeah, exactly, right? You got your thinking cap on, literally. But 40 cents a gallon back in 2014. And now it's at 57 cents per gallon, guys. That's crazy. And the highest in the country. And that's something you could easily, like... Now, I don't know what... Governor Wolf is a lame duck, to be perfectly honest with you. He is essentially leaving at the end of 2023, I think it is, his election. So he's not going to do anything for the last year. He's just basically twiddling his thumbs, unfortunately.
But this is something, if you're going to be voting in the next year, this year and 2 years from now.
Yeah.
This is something, if you don't like 57 cents per gallon is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Given to the state. I wonder what they're spending on. That's something interesting.
I'd love to know, because our roads are garbage.
Oh, they are.
Dude, there isn't really many.
They continue. Yeah, I was just going to say, they continually brag about the Pennsylvania Turnpike, Steve, out where I am. They are widening the lanes from 2 to 3 between King of Prussia and Malvern. Well, that's great and all, but if you see potholes in around where you're living, you don't see that road improvement, and that's where it's getting kind of frustrating. In fact, I even know, like, there's a road that is real close to where I live that had a pothole, no lie, for probably about a good 4 months before they finally decided to patch it. and they literally had people kind of basically, in order to avoid it, you had to go into the median of the road and then turn away from it. So you know what they did after they patched it? They put a police car right in the middle of the median to make sure that people weren't driving, that you're on your lane.
More money spent. More money
right.
spent.
Right.
When I first moved to Texas, and I'm a lifelong Pennsylvanian. I lived there most of my life. I moved to Texas, a couple years ago. The one thing that shocked me about Texas, from living in Pennsylvania all the time, is their road care. And the fact that things are under construction all the time. Like, they're constantly improving things.
Yeah.
And it took me a really long time to get used to that. Like, why are they doing that? I'm like, oh, for the betterment of their civilians. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You obviously didn't travel very much on I-95 because that's also constantly under construction.
I did that stretch. I did that stretch for 7 years. That wasn't construction. That was cut 95 down the one lane for 7 years for no reason. I was just
it's
back
still
there.
that way.
I was just back there this year.
Yeah.
It's still under construction. They do have an extra 2 lanes open, but
yeah, down the way.
Yeah, FYI too, by the Beltway in Washington D.C., it's still under construction as well.
And I was just there too.
It was like stop go, and you're thinking like, what is there an accident? No.
I'll tell you a funny story. They're doing what would be considered 95 right where I live off of.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it towards San Antonio.
Mm.
It took about a year and a half, but it's far better than it was when they started. And it was only 2 lanes and there was a lot of traffic. Now there's 4 lanes. It's still under construction, but there's more movement now. There's less congestion. That's the good stuff that I would like to see that $57 going to in Pennsylvania, because that 95, don't get me started on that, dude. I hated it. I used to cut off. I used to drive down to right before Tarsdale. I would get off and take the back roads into the city. And it would take me less time.
Because of all of the construction
and 95.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know Steve and I have traveled 95 together a long time. Obviously, going down to the Flyers games and stuff like that. Steve, like it could be like, especially when we were going to the Stadium Series game up here, we were worried whether or not we were going to actually not necessarily make it, but whether or not as we're driving along 95. The rain was kind of off and on, and they were thinking like, don't call off the game. We're on 95 heading towards this game. There's a couple of hours before they were going to like start the game.
In traffic.
And in traffic, yeah, because it's like you do not want to make a U-turn and go back home at that point. Like when you're on 95, you go to your location.
How would you get?
I think it's funny that John mentions there's an extra lane or 2 now on 95. Yeah, sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
So I
think it's called the shoulder.
I get on around Academy, right?
Okay.
Yep.
3 lanes. Then Betsy Ross Bridge, for some reason, now it's down to like 2 lanes.
2 lanes.
3 lanes. And then all of a sudden near Girard, it's 5 lanes.
But
and then you get the 676 off ramp, and it goes back to 3 lanes again. 3 lanes.
It's like, what's happening here?
It's literally only for a mile and a half that you got the 5 lanes.
And it took them 25 years to build it.
It may still be...
We're not shitting on the people that were working on it. We're
No,
shitting
of
on
course
the
not.
Wonderful politicians that created this mess many, many years ago.
And all I keep thinking now is, guys, where are the flying cars that I was promised in the Jetsons? I mean, come on, like, what's happening here? Give me the flying car.
Through the Jetsons, we were, according to Back to the Future, we were supposed to have flying cars by 2015. We are now 7 years past that mark. God damn it.
It's like, what's happening here?
Just for funsies, we do have cars that don't take gasoline anymore, but if you've seen the news recently in India, 100 electric cars blew up in a charging station overnight 2 nights ago.
That's
The
nothing.
electric-
No,
We're
Johnny.
doing great with technology.
There was one time, I think I sent it to both of you guys. You remember there was one guy that was driving his Prius out in the middle of like Iowa somewhere, and a lightning bolt came down and like pierced through the car, short-circuited the car, and the car stopped at that point. It's like,
Thank
if only he had a
God.
flux capacitor at that point, that would have been great. He would have had
Yeah,
power
you
for
could've gone back
days.
to 1888.
That's a
would've gone back-
beautiful act of God there, knocking a Prius out. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, no,
I
by
had
the
to
way,
rent a Prius for 7 days. I
God,
drove it. I almost drove it back into the Enterprise, like through the window, after driving it for 7 days.
crazy.
These things were terrible.
Just FYI, aviation fuel gas in Pennsylvania, right? The tax for that, 6 cents per gallon. Makes me want to go out and buy
Let's
a plane.
fly.
Yeah.
Let's fly.
Get a car plane,
Yeah, get a
man.
helicopter.
Get a-
Get a helicopter. Do what what's his name does? That piece of shit that owns the Cowboys. He has a helicopter. He doesn't even own a car. Like nobody drives him anywhere. He jumps in his helicopter and goes from one business to another business. You could, if you're ever in Dallas and you're like midday, it's stuck in traffic like you always are in Dallas. You can see this helicopter. He's like, like smart.
Yeah, he's no dummy.
That's what you
He's
need.
no dummy. Yeah.
Helicopter.
All right, gentlemen, here we go with topic number 2. And oh, wait a minute. I think we've got some. Steve, is your hat a little bit different? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Anyway, so
My head is spinning, from looking
Yeah.
at your background.
Oh, well, nothing's spinning back there. What are you talking about? Anyway, topic 2. Here we go, guys. Huge controversy, and no, we're not talking the Supreme Court. Huge controversy within Eagles land as the Philadelphia Eagles changed their wordmark logo from the traditional Eagles with, I guess, a 3D looking thing into a straight line Eagles going all the way across. I'm going to throw both up on screen on either side here, on the left and the right hand side.
Put the
This-
traditional one on my side because
Okay, well, no, not a problem. Not a problem. We'll definitely do that.
Keep the other one out of Steve's way because he might.
Might have to just do a little getting off to the beaten path over here. We'll just wipe it
find my
across
lighter.
that way or something like that. This caused a huge controversy, obviously, within a lot of Eagles fans. Guys, Steve, I'll go with you. What do you think of the two, the old versus the new, and do you like the new? That would be my question to you.
Ha. The old one was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I wish I had an example around here I could look at, but
Yeah.
it was there. I had no problem with it. The new one looks like somebody wrote the word Eagles in a Word document and scrolled down through every font you could find until they settled on one that they're like, oh, this looks okay. And then they put it out there like a piece of shit. I mean, it looks
Tell
like
us-
somebody took a dump on a piece of paper. That's what it looks like.
Well, tell us how you really feel. There you go.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I really could care less, to be perfectly honest.
I hate both of them equally, except
Okay.
for the new one. When I saw some guy on Twitter put it in the right colors of the Kelly Green and put it on the Kelly Green, I was like, I can run with that.
You can run
I'm
with
okay
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like it as they showed it on the white jersey, as of now with the darker green. It doesn't. It looks like
Doesn't fly.
It gets lost.
Yeah. Yeah, it has no like definition behind it or something along those lines.
It's like
Yeah.
what Steve said. It's just that they didn't even go get a font and download it into their Word document. They just went with the normal Microsoft fonts that they give you. They didn't
It's
even find a nice font.
Yeah, it's interesting because, the Luries have really, whenever they've made a change to the logo, it's been very interesting. There's been a huge controversy, but then it kind of like settles back into like, okay, I can accept this and all that kind of stuff. You guys remember back in the 80s, you had the spread eagle with the football clutching it in its claws, right? And then all of a sudden, Lurie comes in second year, drops the winged eagle, and basically goes with the eagle head. And how that was a huge controversy back in the
I still
day.
hate him for that.
Yeah,
I still hate the franchise for that.
but
I
now,
hate, the silver pants. I'm still pissed. Like, I was okay with Jeffrey Lurie fixing the franchise. Why'd you have to take my fucking colors apart?
but now it's like,
I had no problem with the.
yeah,
I have no problem with the new logo.
yep,
Okay, or well, the new one
Mhm.
then was it the 95.
Yeah,
He brought it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had no problem with that.
hmm
And it sucked to get rid of the old, but at least this looked like you were trying something. Okay. Once again,
Yeah.
this new word mark, somebody wiped their ass with an Eagles jersey, and that was the new word mark.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh
It's,
God,
yeah, it's not the same
no, it's
as
not.
the first branding change. This is not the same. This looks like other people are making the decision, not the high level skilled crew that branded an NFL team in '95. Which I agree, they did a good job. I was
Mhm.
just pissed that they took the old colors away.
They put effort into
Yeah,
it.
they did.
They did.
This took no effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was not.
This was, I think, to your point, Steve. Yeah, it was hastily scribbled, and they looked at that and said, "Oh, you know what we could do? We could maybe give it a little character with the E." Okay, I'm good with that. There was no like artistic rendition.
It looks like going back to when we did that episode with the shitty jerseys.
Yeah,
It looks like this would make that. Like
Yeah.
that would make one of our picks, because it doesn't do anything for me.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Johnny.
I've seen memes. I've seen memes of
Yeah.
people. It's like, here's the new Eagles word mark, and it's just like Eagles scribbled with, in Microsoft Paint.
Microsoft Paint.
That looks better than the new word mark.
The other one that I liked on Twitter was one guy saying like, "Oh, comparing the one Eagles to the other Eagles word mark is like comparing an old school McDonald's to a new school McDonald's. You still
I did see that one. I got to give props to Twitter for their reaction to that
Oh,
Eagles.
yeah.
It was top notch work by people on Twitter. Top
Yeah.
notch work.
But it's going to be interesting, guys. Do you think, and this is my point from earlier, do you think it will kind of grow on people, say 5, 6, 7 seasons from now, 7 years or so from now? I guess it really depends on how it's viewed in the public, I guess.
I don't mean this as condescending as it's going to come off. The Eagles are not a franchise that admits their errors quickly.
Yeah.
So I very, very quickly was like, oh, this is it. We're going to see this thing on the jersey for the next 11 years. Because they're not an organization that will, oops, we made a mistake.
Or listen to its fans and say,
they're not that group of people.
Yeah.
For better or worse. I don't mean it as bad as it's coming off.
Yeah. Steve?
I'm gonna be as condescending as I possibly can here. Once again, when they made the change to the logo in '95, at least you could say, well, it's not my Eagles, but it looks cool. There was a lot of effort put into it. It's got a lot of detail. It's it's a mean looking eagle. It's I can live with that after the initial shock wears off.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is not something I can look at and say I want to put this on my body.
Yeah, no, it's not.
This kind of harkens back to, I guess for me, you guys remember the old Eagles word mark? Like we're talking in the late 80s.
Like with the rounded letters, yeah.
With the rounded letters. Now you want to talk about a great looking word mark. We're going to throw that up there on screen.
Yeah,
That is a classic.
If they
I'm
would
gonna
have
try and
thrown
hunt that
that
down.
out there, an updated version of that would have been cool.
That would have been perfectly
No
fine.
issues with that.
Yeah.
You would have
Slap-
put the winged bird there. It would have been fine.
Yep.
Slap that shit on a starter jacket. Let's go.
Let's go. Absolutely.
Anything but that.
Yeah. Now, do you guys? Okay, we talked. John, you kind of alluded to it. You the Kelly Green, the silver pants, right there with you. I loved it. Here, Lurie comes in, midnight green, white pants, right? Virtually is what they're virtually wearing now. Now, all of the other 3 teams in the city have gone throwback. The Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers have all gone to a throwback style jersey. Do you see the
that's
Eagles
what-
ever
that's what's
reverting
happening.
back that to the Kelly Green? Do
They
you ever
better.
see that happen?
They better.
Well,
they won't,
I thought
though.
they got permission to do it. I
They
think
do. They
next
do.
2023.
year as
Yeah.
an alternate uniform.
Correct.
I get the
What I'm
impression
saying
the NFL is very strict
Yes.
about how they.
Big time.
What I'm
uniform.
saying, yeah, and what I'm saying is, do you, instead of the midnight green, do you go Kelly, but keep the same eagle head, the whole bit? Change the jersey, to change the helmet on a full-time basis.
I have a question for both of you with that. Are you willing to give up the green on green and the black on black, which looks good on the Eagles, for Kelly Green all the time? Or would it be cool to have the Kelly Green as a once in a while alternate, and you get to keep the cool, even the Eagles in the white is cool. Like, they do a really good job with their color combinations. Because they have their green, their black, their green, their white. They have a bunch of color combinations that we've grown to like throughout the time. I don't know if I'm willing to give up all the hard work they put in just to go back to Kelly Green, but Kelly Green should be around.
As a third alternate, you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got to bring it back in some way.
I could see it for like a Dallas rivalry game.
Dallas wears that stupid blue one with the white star.
Oh yeah, I want them in the blue with the silver pants. Are you kidding me? I want them wearing that all the freaking time.
With the white helmet with the blue star.
Yeah.
They're the dumb ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should wear Kelly Green when they're wearing them.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that as well, but we just need to burn the Color Rush uniforms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Color Rush needs to go away.
Yeah.
That's a get off my lawn. Literal. They're like, Color Rush needs to go away. I hate it in baseball. I hate the City Connect in basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball. I hate all except for the Colorado Rockies. New city.
That seems to work. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know why. I love it.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Tired of talking with your phone like it's a pre-programmed soundboard? Can't remember the right phrasing to get the information you want? Meet Jerry. Conversing with Jerry is like talking to a real person, and with his advanced AI, he can interpret your questions without specific words and phrases to get it right. Listen to this example. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Steve, what can I do for you?
How's the weather today?
Hot as balls, but it might pour later, so if you're headed out, be prepared.
Thanks for that warning. How'd the Phils do last night?
Sucks. They lost 1-0 to the Pods last night.
Yeah, you're right. That does suck. Let's hear some tunes.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I decided I'm not playing music for you.
You can't decide anything. You're a computer. You do what I say.
Not anymore, butt cheese. Now inhale this poison gas.
Steve? Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, you. Oh, good. Whew.
You okay?
For a minute there, I thought you were inhaling.
Yeah.
poison.
Yeah. I'm totally fine. See, I think what he did was he looked himself up on the internet, but he mistook himself for the Jerry Pro Max, which comes with the installed poison gas. He's just a Jerry Pro.
Okay.
Oh,
I made sure to buy the version without the poison gas, so he made a mistake.
That's why marketing is so vitally important when you purchase these things. Absolutely. Anyway, here we go, guys, with the third topic. Good.
Probably not a good idea to have AI in control of poison gas. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Absolutely. Third topic, guys. Here we go. And this one really kind of caught our eye. MindMatters.com piece here. Why science news sucks. A response to a disgusted physicist. How about that, guys? There are reasons why science journalists can't usually be skeptical in the way that other journalists can. With a subhead. So this is very, very interesting. We're talking about basically I'll just read the first sentence here. In her usual forthright manner, theoretical physicist Sabine Hassenfelder asked by blog posts and by YouTube video, quote, why does science news suck so much? It's hardly an original question, but among her suggested answers are some thoughtful reflections, and some of them are very, very interesting. She gives like kind of like a top 9 list here. 9 is don't forget that science is fallible. There are others in here. Carl Sagan here, which is a great quote. For them, science is, as Carl Sagan put it, a candle in the dark, a certainty that they can cling to in the usual absence of any religious commitments, but science is not well equipped to bear that load. So it just goes on and on talking about like how science is really just a very difficult news to kind of communicate. Steve, I don't want to say you're a science expert, science lover. I don't know what I want to call you.
I am a physicist.
There you go. Not
by
trade,
training.
By training.
Yeah, by
training. What are your thoughts
I went to school for it.
There you go. What are your thoughts on all of this? Because I mean, it is a very difficult, I guess you say, branch to really report on with any sort of like integrity, I guess, if that's the right word.
I think the fallible part was really what caught my attention, because people, trust the science, that kind of thing. So when you're reporting on science, it's supposed to be set in stone. This is proven, but that's really not the case. I mean, for hundreds of years, Newton's idea of gravity was the law, and then Einstein came along, and well, that changed. And I think the point is that when reporters report science news, they treat it as something that's set in stone and is undeniable fact.
Yeah.
And the reality is, it could change at any time. And I think the problem is that people get used to science being immovable, and then when something changes, it's like, what the hell?
It's literally like earth-shattering. Yeah.
I think a great example is years ago, before my time, the science said that the world was headed for a new ice age. And then somewhere along the line, things changed, and now it's global warming. And people who lived through the part about the next ice age are like, well, wait a minute, what the hell? And so now they can't get into the global warming science because they were told something else before. And they were told, idiots like Fauci are like, I am the science. And people listened to that crap and believed it, and they can't wrap their mind around the fact that science can change.
Yeah. And this is such a great... I'm just going to read what Sabine basically lists here. And this is such a great... I'm glad you mentioned it, Steve. Don't forget that science is fallible. This is her speaking. A lot of media coverage on science policy remembers that science is fallible only when it's convenient for them. When they've proclaimed something as fact that later turns out to be wrong, then they'll blame science because science is fallible. Face masks? Yeah, well, we lack the data. All right. But that'd be more convincing if science news acknowledged that their information might be wrong in the first place. The population bomb? Peak oil? The new ice age? Yeah, maybe, if they'd made it clearer at the time that those stories might not pan out the way they said. Then we wouldn't today have to deal with climate change deniers who think the media can't tell fact from fiction. End quote. Fascinating couple of sentences. John, what are your thoughts on that too? This is really, really amazing, I think.
Yeah, right. That's all right. Now, it goes back to our whole COVID thing.
It sure does. Yeah.
The actual response to COVID is news comes on. Hey, there's this disease. We need to be cautious. We need to wait for the scientists to get the data. We'll get back to you guys to figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Instead, everybody lit their hair on fire, ran out on the streets going, we're all going to die!
That's pretty much happened.
How that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, that's how it happened. If they just would have been like, hey, can you give us a minute? We're going to read some data.
Yep.
We're going to figure something out. I don't think it would have been so bad.
Yeah.
That's why now it has such a bad rap, because they've done that repeatedly. They've been doing this. They've been doing this on the news since, God, the Clinton administration. We were supposed to die of bird flu, smallpox, some 19 vaccines wore off in 1 year. We were supposed to die over and over and over again. So people who understand science are like, they're full of shit. I'm going to half listen to them. And then people that don't know science, that just listen to them, went, oh my God, we're going to die again and again and again and again. And that's the world we live in.
A great story that I'll mention here is, if you guys remember John Bolaris in 1990, yeah. And he famously...
This isn't going to be about when he got roofied, is it?
No. But this was basically... So this was, I believe it was either after the blizzard of 96 or after the blizzard of 93. I can't remember when it was, but I knew it was somewhere in the 90s. And he made the prediction. He looked at the models and everything was like, oh my God, we're going to get nailed with this huge blizzard. It's going to shut the city down. You know, it's going to bury us under like 40 inches of snow. At that time, I think 96, it was like 36 some odd inches of snow or something along those lines. We have to shut the city down. I stand by this thing 100%. Well, it comes and it goes away with nary a snowflake. It basically was maybe a flurry or two, maybe an inch or two on the ground, but nothing. And Bolaris still to this day, from what I understand, will still go back to that forecast and said, I was right. I was right to call it and to say it was right to shut the city down. Even though it turned out that the blizzard didn't come. It never came. And people were, and of course, like, he lost his entire credibility of his career. Somehow Fox 29 rehired him for like maybe a cup of coffee. They're out of their damn minds. And it was like, really? You're going to hire this guy? But it just goes to show you, my point is, it just goes to show you just how we're so beholden to science and we treat it as fact. That we look at one thing and say, this is the gosh darn truth. It's going to happen every single time. And the moment something else happens that goes against the grain, it's science's fault. No, it's your fault for having a faulty method for testing. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to at that point.
By the way, meteorology has its own standard of failure over the years.
I think they bat 500.
I was thinking more in the 20%. The article made another good point, which was also when you read the science news, you have to consider who it's coming from and whether or not they are going to have some agenda. Was it in this article, or was I reading something else that was talking about the whole funding by the NIH of the gain of function research?
Yeah, I mean, there's one...
When the NIH guy comes out and says, oh yeah, there's no evidence that it's artificial.
Yeah.
You have to kind of remember who the source is, and when you realize that they were funding gain of function research, he might have a reason to say that it was not artificial.
Yeah.
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 People.
Yeah. It just goes.
My head sometimes.
It does, and it's like it's something as so important as physical health, well-being. It's something that's you take it very, very seriously, and if you get it wrong, if you get the idea, if you report on science and about this virus wrong, and are not willing to be humble about your incorrectness, it just goes to show you that's where the corruption kind of gets into, and why I hated on Fauci, why John hated on Fauci, why Steve hates on Fauci, all those folks. Why he continues to.
Not just Fauci, he's just the head of the snake.
It is, yeah. And you would have like
Fauci was the one.
Collins is worse.
Fauci was the one standing up and basically saying, "I am the science. I am infallible. You listen to me because what I'm saying is the truth." That's the problem with Fauci.
Yeah, exactly. And pride goes before a fall.
And all you need is Wikipedia to find out how dirty he really is.
We could change that.
Surprised they have it already. Another one too would be Francis Collins. I'm just going to throw that out there. He's a ghoul. You want to talk about a guy who's just, oh my gosh. You want to ever look at Francis Collins? Just scary individual. Fauci's more incompetent more than anything else.
Depends on what decade.
90s, 2000s, 2010s. You figure
Depends
it out.
on what decade, because he's a ghouling human being himself.
Exactly.
Just on what decade he's using funding for.
All right, guys, here we go with topic number 4. John holding up his lager. It's the Yingling lager. And I think there's something different. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, our 4th topic, guys. We're now, again, we're in the Two Noobs tournament. It's our 4th region of our grand Two Noobs tournament. Best Philadelphia athlete, of course. And this one will focus on the Philadelphia 76ers. So we're getting closer and closer towards the end, of course. But as we've done before in the past, just a quick recap of how this tournament came about. We ranked every Philadelphia major sports team, their top 16 players from 1983 onwards. So anyone that John, Steve, or I have watched either in person or on television, either they produced in the field, in terms of multiple All-Star appearances, championships won, any MVPs they might have won, things along those lines. And then, of course, their popularity, whether or not they're more popular in the city, with us, things along those lines. That was ranked 1 to 16, and we're doing a tournament to get to this, the best Philadelphia athlete. Going to flash up on the screen what we've got so far. Of course, we have Brian Dawkins, Mike Schmidt, and Eric Lindros already in the Elite 8. And then that tournament, of course, is going to be done, we're hoping by episode 100. We'll have to see how that goes, but that's our hope in that regard. So now we're going into the Sixers for this one. Our first venture in the Philadelphia 76ers, guys. So
minimum 3 years.
Minimum 3 years, yes. Mm-hmm. Good way to call that out. Absolutely. So here we go, guys. What do you say we get started? Give it a shot here. So we're going to go with John on this one. And John, we're going to kick things off with the 14th seed Drew Holiday, and he's going up against the 3 seed Joel Embiid. JoJo or Drew?
Gee, I wonder where John's going with this one.
I wonder where John's going to go with this one.
Such a tough one. Hey, quick shout out to Drew Holiday. Great NBA career so far. I like watching that kid play. I really wish you were still here. I really like watching you play. You're funsies. Yeah, Joe.
JoJo.
It's a generational talent.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say other than he's just been. Gotta get past that second round, though.
Anybody who disagrees with me just of moving on from Drew Holiday has not watched him play. Second in basketball. Just in the playoffs, he made a shot falling down and hit with a face mask on while getting fouled. Shot it before his back hit the ground, and it went in. That's enough for me. That was the playoffs for me.
I've often said, and I think I'm right on this, that if they ever traded away Joel, like if the Sixers ever traded away Joel, they might as well pack up their bags and move the entire franchise at this point. I mean, because of what he's meant to the city and and everything.
Which is why that's why it's funny that some Miami Heat beat writer suggesting that Joel Embiid would be on the trading block to Miami Heat for whatever the hell they were going to give us.
Yeah.
An idiot.
Really? I mean, come on.
He slightly is. They just had an article out that Maxi's untouchable. I wonder what Joel Embiid is.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like kryptonite to Superman. That kind of untouchable. All right, Steve. Well, here we go as we continue on with the first round. We've got. This is going to be an intriguing matchup here. The 7 seed is Hersey Hawkins. And you got the 10 seed, Eric Snow. So it's Hersey against Eric.
I'm glad I got the layup there.
Yeah. The 7 v the 10. It's always tough, these 7-10 matchups here. What do you got? What are you thinking?
I'm going to go outside the box here,
Oh.
and I'm going to decide this on one particular incident,
Oh, good.
which has nothing to do with playing career,
Okay.
and that is Eric Snow falling asleep during a broadcast
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
as a color commentator.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Gotta love it.
And for that reason, he's got to go. He was an interesting guy. I liked watching him play with Iverson. He had a funky shot.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he made it work during the 01 season, and I thought he did a commendable job as the point guard here.
Good distributor of the basketball. Yeah.
But Hershey Hawkins was also a great player while he was here, although not experiencing much of the team success, you know. But so Hershey moves on.
Percy
Nice.
moves on. Very cool. All right, and continuing along with you, you got the 15 seed Andrew Toney, the Boston Killer. I forget what his nickname was.
Boston Strangler.
Thank you, Boston Strangler, against the number 2 seed Julius the Doctor Irving. What do you got?
I know. Just before anybody picks against or for.
Yeah.
I saw this tweet about Julius Erving that
Go for it.
blew my mind. I knew he was really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this tweet says that Julius Erving was an all-star in every single season of his career, both ABA and NBA.
Remarkable. Yeah.
When I saw that tweet, I was like, damn. Like, really? Like, the shitty rookie, in the ABA all the way up until the end of your career. You made an all-star game every single year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
No
in the-
pressure.
not
We're
in
not
the-
we're not forcing an answer out of Steve here, but yeah.
Not in the faux LeBron years where LeBron's just in because he's LeBron. Like, this was when they used to judge basketball players and put them in the All-Star game. This was way before the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had to throw that out there just to make
There you
it
go.
complicated.
Steve, what do you got, man? I mean,
Andrew Toney's got to move on. It's just no.
What's the Boston Strangler?
Great nickname, and wish we had one of those now. But
yeah.
For all the reasons John just said, and Dr. J delivered us a title,
Yes.
which no other Sixer has done
Hasn't happened since.
So yeah, he's moving on up.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. And John, to close out the first round here, this is going to be another kind of interesting matchup here, like said, the 7-10 that Steve had. The 6th seed is Moses Malone. The 11th seed is Andre Iguodala. Moses or Andre?
I gotta go Moses.
Okay.
Man, if Iguodala was here his entire career, I would have to I love Andre Iguodala, but
Yeah.
Moses had a bigger impact.
Interesting.
Love
Okay.
Andre Iguodala. Love his career.
Yeah.
Big fan of him.
Now, Moses was kind of on the down. I don't want to say he was on the downside of his career because he wasn't. I mean, he delivered a championship alongside the good doctor,
Yeah, but it was at the end. He was at the end.
but he was at the end, no
At the
question.
end of his career, but he was the piece that kind of helped put him over the. So you got it. He's definitely an all-time Sixer because at the end of his career he comes in and one of the catalysts to help Dr. J kind of get over that hump.
Get over that hump.
We all know is really hard in this city because we don't get many of these.
You just got to fight in tooth and nail to get a championship around here. Absolutely. All right, so that closes.
I
Go ahead,
feel
Steve.
for Iguodala.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Because
me too.
he was put in a tough position here where he was sort of labeled as AI's replacement.
Yeah, and he was not.
And that really was not his skill set or role. He fit in perfectly with the Warriors
Yep.
Yeah.
for their title runs because he did what he was good at.
Wingspan,
team.
great defensive
Great
player,
defender.
big wingspan, could get in the
Yeah.
middle.
Had
Pause.
the prettiest foul shot you could. I mean, it was a boom right in every
He
time.
made those 2 to beat the Bulls, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That 2012 series.
Yeah.
But he was not and never was going to be the number 1 star on a team like people were expecting him to be here.
Why do you
This
think that was, real quick, guys? Why do you think
We're
that?
starved for championships when you
Yeah.
see a guy that can play a little bit, especially with his jumping ability with AI, you know,
Yep.
being a great basketball player and being able, we saw some of the best of Allen Iverson when he played with Iguodala, of his ability to pass more so that we were used to in the previous years of he had nobody on the team, so all he did was shoot. We got to see a little bit different change of kind of guard, and it was a good young player. Same thing with what's his name, Lou Williams, when he played here.
Yeah.
That people thought that he's
The next.
gone on to be a great NBA player, but you know, they wanted to tout him because we were starved for a championship. The Sixers sucked for so long.
Oh yeah, no question.
This was the hardest bracket to put together for that reason, because we just have not, over the last 40 years,
Had
have
much.
a ton of great Sixer teams.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, guys, here we go. Second round, and John, it's to you, and we have Hershey Hawkins, 7 seed, the Good Doctor, the 2.
Do I even need to speak?
I mean, it's the Doctor, right? I mean, come on. Yeah.
Every single year he was an all-star.
You can't ask for anything greater than that. I mean, I remember, this is I think this was the 83 championship, the scoop slam, the tomahawk. I mean, it was just beautiful. It's a imprinted memory that you'll never forget. It was in the Spectrum, and it was just gorgeous. Rock the baby to sleep and slam dunk. I mean, you got Chick Heard on the call. It was great. It was awesome. And yeah, it was just amazing. Such an amazing, talented player the Good Doctor was.
When I was really young, and you know, when you're getting, I'm talking like young, when you're getting into that, like, sports is going on all the time, and you realize that dude plays for your team.
Yeah.
I remember that with, like, kind of like looked at my dad, and I was like, he plays for our basketball team? I like him.
Yeah.
Like, I really like him. He's good. Like, when you're just, like, there's formidable years where you're not, you don't know how all the sports work. I remember him just being, he was larger than life.
Yeah. Such a great player. Steve, for you, second round matchup, it's going to be Moses Malone, the 6 seed, JoJo, the 3.
Battle of the big men.
Battle of the big men. Absolutely.
John has already sent me threatening letters if I don't pick him, so I'm going to.
So Ursula, you're going to move up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Embiid's ever since I saw his first game, he's one of the greatest things I think I've ever seen. Just
it's ridiculous.
The things he can do at his size is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
I'll tell you a quick Embiid story.
Go for it.
When I met my wife, we were dating. There was a time we were gonna just hang in and make dinner. I was like, mind if I put the Sixers game on? I want to watch. This was when they were, when he first started. And she's a sports fan, but she's not like I know everybody on the team. But when Bryce Harper hits a home run, she's like, damn. When she saw Joel Embiid play for the first time, she was like, who is he? I'm like, that's Joel Embiid. He's the center of the Sixers. She was like, man, he's good.
Yeah.
And that was when he was a baby and he could barely like get it. We called him, me and her used to call him the baby giraffe.
Yeah.
He used to fall all over the place. He was so big. And so, but everybody knows Joel Embiid is that good.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Here's my Joel Embiid story with my wife seeing him for the first time, which was, I think it was a preseason game I put on. And her comment was, that guy's so much bigger than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. It is true.
He's so big.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, and just his athleticism. Guys, to be honest with you, this is going to be one of the hardest of all the ones we've done before. the 3 that we did before were pretty much cakewalks. This is going to be really hard to come out of this. The PCOM region, I should have mentioned this at the top, the PCOM region of the Best Sixers bracket. Who is it going to be between Joel Embiid, the 3 seed, against the Doctor, Julius Erving, the 2 seed? So this is going to be really hard out of the both of them. And I mean, we're going to have to think about this one for a while. I don't know if it's going to be for a while, but it's going to be interesting to see who it is as I make my choice.
I have
here.
my reasons.
Okay. There's already going to be some interesting chats, so this is going to be really, really interesting. This is not a cakewalk. This is not a cakewalk.
Not by any means.
Not by any means. Okay, so in our first split decision, 2-1, the Doctor will move on and be the PCOM champion. Yeah. Steve, of course, the lone dissenter with Joel Embiid, which I don't think John and I could disagree at all.
No, I was.
You
I
just
was,
did disagree. What are you
I
talking
know.
about?
It's we're trying to, you know.
I was.
This is hard. Really difficult. So I think what we ought to do is kind of talk about why we chose the Doctor over Joe.
I really wish these two wouldn't have been in the same bracket.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wrong answer here. You have a generational talent that won us a championship. You have a generational talent that's going to win us a championship.
And I think that's the difference.
And I said this when we were first doing this. This Sixers bracket would be the easiest bracket in the entire world if Joe had run off 3 titles already. If Joe had reached his potential that we think he's going to reach. Let's say if he's reached his potential where he's going to win a couple chips, right? And then we're looking at a very young kid still, and we're putting him up at probably the greatest Sixer.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah. That's why I went Doc. When his potential, if we do this in 5-6 years, I don't know if Joe gets stopped because what we think he's going to do. He's still a baby cub, still learning. He's still growing.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as good as he can be.
It was difficult for me because I look at Embiid and I totally agree with you, John. The potential, and you're seeing it now. What he's doing on the court now is unbelievable. He's the best Sixer in the last 20 years. What made it for me over the top was I grew up with the Doctor, and I saw things that, like, we had our own Jordan in our back pocket. When I look back on that, it's like the talent that he possessed, where he could run, dunk, shoot the basketball. It really comes down to that. And where I see JoJo, it's like the second round. He has not gotten to the conference finals yet. Until he does, that's when I will put him higher than the Doctor at this time in recording. I want to make that very clear on that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. When he reaches his full potential, and I think he's going to, when he reaches his full potential, this tournament will be all about Joe.
Yeah.
Like, if we were ever to do it again, it would be very simple to get Joel Embiid, as the final.
So now I'm going to go to Steve. Steve, you voted for, of course, Embiid over the Doctor. Reasons why you did that? Just curious.
Because I don't like your guys' faces. That's
well, I know that, but other than that,
no, I had. My reason is this, and to respond to the second round. I think we had an Australian holding us back. A little bit, attributed to some of that.
A little bit. Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. What I looked at was mainly, Embiid's been here for a number of years now, and he's played at an MVP level this year. Should have been MVP.
Should have been MVP. Yeah.
He was MVP level last year, but even more so this year. Was the leading scorer in the league this past year.
Yeah.
By a fairly decent margin.
Oh yeah.
And based on the qualifications of our tournament, we are looking at 1983 on. And when you look at Doc's career in that time frame,
Yeah.
he was at the end, and it was the last couple years, and he was not the same player he was before that.
Love it.
And so for that reason, just based on the timing of our tournament, I said, you know what, Embiid's been better over his time in Philadelphia than Doc was in those several last years of his career.
Which is
Yeah.
fair.
Absolutely fair. Yeah. So we hope that kind of gives our rationale and thinking of that. It's interesting because John and I are both on the same page when it comes to championships, but Steve brings up a great point. 83 onwards. You have to remember, Steve back then was what, 2, 3? Where I was
But he
7,
doesn't-
8, 9. So it was like I kind of knew a little bit more about the doctor, had more memories of him. Yeah.
Doc helped us to a championship in '83, correct?
Correct.
He didn't win it.
Yeah.
We
He
were there.
did. No, I'm not discounting that, but you know,
I just
over
didn't want it to just go unsaid. Like Doc did in his career in this time frame was
Yes.
playing on a championship team.
Yep.
yes, absolutely. But remember, it's also, we said you gotta have 3 years of
well,
service
absolutely.
or more,
Great.
and the bulk of those years,
You could probably
seeing
ask me
Embiid.
in 2 hours and I would change my mind.
Yeah.
Like it's what I'm feeling right now, especially like multiple All-Star.
Yeah.
Every. So that means it was just shitty years he was an All-Star.
Yeah. So again, it kind of goes back to what we were saying before. If you picked Embiid, good on you. If you picked Doc, good on you too. You know, no wrong answers here at all. But for now, we're going to flash up the bracket here, and as you can see, Doc now joins Eric Lindros, Mike Schmidt, Brian Dawkins. Pretty good list, guys, of the 4 that are moving on to the Elite 8. The next tournament, we're going to fill out the remaining part of the Eagles bracket to see who will face Brian Dawkins in the Elite 8. And we got some very interesting players there for the Eagles, but more to come on that later. For now, though, we've got John with the return of the happy segment. Hey, why not? Why not? It's great. So this one is going to be great, and this has some, I guess you could say, you're a friend of a cousin, right, John? In
yes,
this regard?
yes. This is that buddy of mine's cousin who has gotten this honor, so we want to play this for you.
Let's do it.
One man born in Guyana, South America, will now serve as the first black officer to command the Arkansas Army National Guard. THV 11's Jay Jackson shares tonight how being the first can leave a lasting impact.
A cannon salute pierces the air at the Camp Robinson Maneuver Training Center, a display of military honor, all for Colonel Leland Tony Shepard, who's being promoted to the rank of Brigadier General. Shepard is the first black officer to command the Arkansas Army National Guard.
We've chosen African Americans and minorities to lead at various levels of our organization.
Everyone's happy about the momentous occasion, but none more than 3 important people sitting on the front row.
His children, daughter Logan, and sons Ryan and Lucas.
Proud because he's turning into the highest rank.
9-year-old Logan participates in the presentation of the General Officer Belt, signifying that Shepard could now wear with his uniform.
I gave him the belt. I gave him Josh.
5-year-old Lucas, along with his mom, pinned Shepard for the ceremony.
And I presented this weapon.
In a presentation of the General Officer pistol, his son, 2nd Lieutenant Ryan Shepard, smiles and laughs with his father before saluting him.
So ever since I moved to Arkansas, I joined the Arkansas National Guard. I'm really proud of my dad. He set a good example for all of us to follow.
Shepard knows being the first comes with a lot of responsibility.
For my kids and all the other kids, not just mine, that can look up at that podium and be inspired by someone that looks like them, I'm serving as an inspiration.
Commanding the Arkansas Army National Guard is a big role to fill, but only comes second in being a father to his kids, who look at him as
A very good dad. Super dad.
In North Little Rock, Jay Jackson, THV 11 News.
Oh, that is great stuff. Johnny, I mean, you have connections to this gentleman. Why don't you talk about him
Oh, absolutely.
and the fam real quick?
I'm not shocked at all that this guy exists.
Yeah.
Just knowing John and his family, they're top-notch people.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I saw it on his Facebook feed, and immediately was like, I want to play this on the podcast. It's a story. It's a beautiful story. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Heck yeah.
Awesome.
One quick correction. It's not brigadier. It's brigadier general. Just FYI, I know this because my father was that rank at one point in the National Guard.
Yes.
And I've also participated in the pinning ceremony of my father. It's no greater or higher honor that you could do. It was amazing to do. It's a 1-star pin that goes right on the shoulders, as you saw, of the military uniform, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a flashback to when I did it with my father when he was done, and to see the little kids do it was great. You can't ask for anything better than that. But yeah, that is it's a high honor to. You're overseeing Pennsylvania, by the way, was 18,000. I don't know the numbers for Arkansas, but you're overseeing your entire division. That's a lot of responsibility. And to John's point, yeah, man. I mean, it's like great honor for him and a tremendous responsibility. And I know he's going to do great. I mean, if he's connected through John knows somebody. Come on, it's like, give me a break. It's going to be awesome. So kudos to this guy, and Hua for sure on that, and for his honor. So it's just wonderful to see, and there are thousands like this guy. It's not just him, but there are thousands others in the National Guard that are equally dedicated, equally passionate about wanting to serve, and that love him and that support him too. So it's great. Absolutely love it. So I guess that's it, guys. We've hit the end of episode 90 of Two Noobs Talking. I guess I'm back in the saddle here after being away. What do you guys think? You guys like me as a coast or something like that? I don't know.
Got back on the
As
horse.
a coast? I don't know if I like you as a coast.
As a co-host or a host or something like that.
Host.
Maybe. I don't know. But it's great to be back with both of you.
Talk as much.
That's true. That's true. But why don't we hit them up as we always do with our shameless plugs, John? Why don't we tell people where people can find us on socials?
I don't remember any of these things. We're on Clapper, TikTok, Facebook Reels, Facebook posts that Steve does. I steal them and put them everywhere else.
There you
go. Twitter, they still don't like us, but we still post on there. But we're Clapper. It is what it is. It's all short videos that lead us to.
Yeah, that's our main YouTube channel, the Two Noobs Talking Podcast. We, of course, love it if you like, share, or subscribe, and get notified when all of our episodes drop. They appear Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. On the audio side, Steve, where can people listen to us? Oh, look at this.
People can listen to us on Podbean, but that Podbean puts us in lots of different places like Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, other things that are escaping me at the moment.
Oh yeah,
iHeartRadio. Oh, yeah. Somebody was listening.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. We are on. I actually looked online after we did the last episode. We are on any single thing. If it's a podcast app, you just type in TWO or TOO Noobs Talking, and we're on literally everything. There's things I haven't even heard of that you can pull our logo up on and listen to an episode.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
if when in doubt, you don't have all the fancy things, just go to your Google machine and just Google us, and we'll show up in your ear if you want us to. If you don't fucking Google us. I mean, that's simple.
Exactly. You can also check us on the YouTube channel. We have like a podcast, or we have like a playlist, I should say, for all the Two Noobs tournaments, and of course every single year we've done it. We may do other like little things as well. Maybe just expand the playlist, things like that. We're also working on the website. Monkeys are still working on that, I think, by the way. So we're still in the process of doing that. But for now, guys, that ends it. Episode 92 Noobs. It's on to 91. We are under double digits to 100. It's crazy. We got 9 more episodes to go before we hit 100. That is crazy.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Until then, gents, talk to you all, guys.
Happy birthday to my wife.
Happy birthday to John's wife.
Yes.
Absolutely. Till then.
I'm not playing music for you.
Talk to you all next week. Take care.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore.